Alright guys, welcome back to Cooper Style Reviews. We're taking a look at Civil Warrior, their CW-01 General Grant. So this is an homage to the War Within Prime. This is the first, I believe, from this company, Civil Warrior, and I'm impressed. I bought this just because I saw a couple of pictures and it looked cool. I thought it was like a classic size figure, so it's much bigger than I expected. Didn't know that it had die cast and whatnot, and it's an extremely solid piece too. So while we're giving you a roundabout, has a detachable trailer, as you can see. Well, you can't see that it's detachable, but it is. Now, won't be doing a transformation for this video, and it sucks because it feels pretty easy, but mine, even though it was new sealed, did not come with instructions, so I went ahead and messaged the retailer. Hopefully I can get those sooner than later, because I'd love to do a transformation video for this, but I'll show what I can. I just don't want it to take way longer than it needs to be. This is 14.5 inches long, by the way, for the sake of me fiddling around with it. Okay. And what's cool about this is that it actually clips in. It clips in on the sides. There's a clip right here on each side, as well as pegs that peg into that leg area there at the trailer too. So as you can see, all the wheels, front to back, roll. It sits very even. It's pretty cool. And as far as accessories are concerned, very simplistic. Comes with two. His big blaster. Does not store in alt mode, unfortunately. As well as his axe. Alright, now back to this guy. Alright, now taking the trailer off, we're going to get these pieces unpegged. And then these sides unclipped too. Alright, so we're unpegged there. Unclipped at least on this side. There we go. Everything just goes in really tight. So 2 clips, 2 pegs. Alright. And we'll get the trailer out of the way there. In fact, we'll put it up so it doesn't block from the back. So to attach it to the trailer, you need to have the feet up. Just get those pressed in. Outside of that, nothing needed. And it's a pretty standard War Within Prime. I mean, it looks how it's supposed to look. It's just giant, die cast, and fabulous. Alright. And overall, it just plain looks good. It's a Cybertronian mode, but between the paint and things like that, it's clean. It's as clean as a Cybertronian kind of truck cab can be. It's neat to see the big old trailer too, so. Have those two pieces together yet there? Pretty neat. Alright, so now we got this guy transformed into his bot mode. Got a roundabout here. Really nice metallic paint. No chipping or dinging and stuff like that. Normal handling. Seems finished pretty well. Paint apps in general are just nice. Alright, so we'll raise the camera up some. Give you guys a proper measurement. Make sure his head's all the way forward, and that's one thing with transforming them. This slides back and forth, so if it looks like the head's extra low, you might have the ability to raise it up some. Just naturally with this part of the hood in front of his face, just no matter who designs them, if it's accurate in that sense, it's going to have a bit of cover up, which is unfortunate because it's a really nice head sculpt too. Alright, so it's about 9.5 inches tall, head to toe. Pretty straight up pose. Now looking at the articulation here, start with the head. It does look up quite a ways. Downwards, the chin actually taps that collar area, so the lowest it really looks is straight forward, unfortunately. It can do a 360, but because of the mask and the clearance area in that collar, you kind of have to raise the head and stuff like that. Actually, you don't. You could have it down, but I would just watch because it does rub right in that area, and I personally don't want my mask scraping and things like that. So unless you really just have to pose it like that, and even then, I would go up and then raise it down to where it touches instead of scraping it. You know what I mean? The antenna do move back and forth. That's about it for the head. Shoulders. That whole piece there rotates around. Now this flap does move up, and you can hear those ratchets there. And about parallel, just short. Bicep swivel. Double jointed biceps, one right here, or double jointed elbows, duh. One right there. And you can go all the way up. Let's take a look at the hands. So the hands are on a swivel. And this is where it gets cool. Lovely articulated fingers here. Kind of like, haven't seen this since DX9 stuff. Alright, so you got the thumb there, and you got the fingers, but they actually have full spread and everything like that. And each one, not just the fingers, but the thumb as well, has those 3 points of articulation, so the thumb is on a ball joint, so you can go all the way around. But even the thumb also has one right here, and right here. So it has a piece right 1, 2, 3. Same with all the other fingers. Actually, the other fingers have 2. And then the ball joint kind of counts as the first one. So plenty of articulation throughout, and yeah, it's really neat. And the fact that the fingers spread, it's way too uncommon. It should be something that's standard, in my opinion. But it is not. Alright, so moving the camera back a little bit here. The waist, 360. And when playing with the waist, when transforming them, make sure that there's an actual click. It's a soft click, but it locks it. If not, playing with this, it'll raise it up and things like that and get it out of place while you're just moving it like normal. So make sure that's there. So 360 at the waist. Get that back. All right. Look at the ab crunch. It's a little bit right now, so no back bend. The farthest it can go is straight up. All right. And then ab crunch though. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Alright, now hip skirts. These move out a little bit. They hit the waist. These are a bit tight, but they move up. And they can move, like, they can swing up and down as well, which is good. These move up. And then outward. Still good about parallel. Forward. Alright. So even though it has all of that clearance, it can't go, well, it gets pretty well parallel. This knee's actually a little bit deceptive because it can go forward as well as backwards. But then backwards. Alright. They're ratcheted, as you can hear, and unfortunately it doesn't quite make that ratchet right there, so this is the far that it'll hold. It'll go this far, but since it doesn't meet that ratchet yet, that's where it stops. Alright, so the knees. Before I get started, kind of hard to pose in the legs at times. Holds up plenty fine, but the fact that this knee can go forward, and at times it's hard to notice until you've already got posed or you've taken a picture already, things like that. It can be deceptive. So whenever you're posing them, make sure that the knee isn't forward. I don't know why they did that, but they did that. And make sure you have these knee guards up too. My bad. All right. But double jointed knees. Quite a bit back. The feet. Alright, so when it comes to forward movement and things like that, outside of like that's used for the transformation, there's really no movement in the foot in that way, but decent ankle tilt. Now in terms of gimmicks, he does have one LED. Be careful with that. The first couple of times I got those doors open, they were pretty tight. They have definitely loosened up since. And you can see underneath right there, that's the button. And I obviously haven't memorized where it's at, so it's easy to press, but it's kind of hard to find. It's pretty flat. Okay, and it's that one light that lights up, the matrix. Pretty cool. It's hard to see from there, but the matrix isn't removable. It's actually a clear area in the chest, molded to look like a matrix. Just fine by me. One less piece to lose. So neat feature. I do wish that like these areas, like the headlights were clear so they could light up as well, but it's what it is. Okay. Let's look at the weapons here. Big old blaster. Nothing transforms on this. The handle doesn't retract or anything like that or fold in. So there's a tab on here, female inside of the hand. Not too crazy hard to find, but of course I gotta make it look harder than it is. Alright, and you see right there, I just took a look to the side of the camera to eyeball it. Goes in really easy, pegs in decently. Now this weapon is plastic. One thing I forgot to state is that this is a die-cast figure. You can feel it like throughout the legs and stuff like that. He's a weighty, beefy boy. So, yeah. This thing is pretty damn cool. There is an LED in here. The blue. And it looks fairly white on camera here, but I will tell you guys, in hand, it's like that Christmas tree straight blue LED all through it. It doesn't look white at all, so it's pretty cool. Press that again. Now the batteries. 2 LR41 batteries. Mine didn't come with them. I watched a review since I don't have instructions on how to transform it. His did come with batteries, so... And to access the other one, this part of the chest slides off. Gotta love it. And 2 in there. I had to use tweezers to access that, simply because it's so tight with the tire and whatnot, and there's no way to really get around that, but it's what it is. Now one thing I will say is that when taking this off, gotta watch this piece right here. You can glue it in place, of course, but if it falls out, just slide it back in. And of course, since it's pressed against, it'll stay in place. It hasn't annoyed me to the point of gluing it or anything like that. It's pretty much being my shelf, so I don't really see myself having to change the battery anytime soon or anything like that and access it. And I do wish he held the gun a little bit tighter, but if you aren't lazy like me and get the hands firmly gripped around it, it helps tremendously. All right. Now we'll take a look at the axe. And I do wish that there was weapon storage as well. Everything can go in the trailer and stuff like that in alt mode, but in bot mode, we're kind of SOL. Alright, so get that back. And again, that's me. And it holds fine while you've got it displayed and stuff like that, but obviously the jolting and whatnot, get it on a more stable surface. Then this just pegs into place. And the weapons are plastic. He holds them up just fine, so you don't have to worry about big die-cast pieces ruining the joints or anything like that. Yeah, let's see. Maybe just a basic A stance, heroic posture. Let's see how this looks. And again, that gun wants to be the bane of my existence right now, but that's fine. Yeah, and I just wish his head was able to look over this a bit better. I think maybe we'll have him look out to the side so we can see it. Boom, there we go. Now let's go ahead and get the armor attached, not too hard. Get that out. Now the axe, for whatever reason, it's in two pieces. I don't know why, but it is. So, there we go. Now, of course, there's the option of gluing that and whatnot, but whatever you want to do. Get that out of his hands. Okay. So basically the only thing you have to do is get the front and back of his feet folded in. Now with these pieces, you'll know what foot is what because you'll have this part sticking out to the side for that particular foot, so that's going to be on the outside. But there's a clip in the back, and then this kind of pegs into the front. But I'm going to flip it. Like that. Get that foot in. Then just find the clip. Make sure it's down. Clip it. Boom. You're already the majority of the way done. Alright, so these, you pull the handles out. And you can see the peg. It's meant for the inside. Alright, so under his forearm, he has areas where this slides in. As long as you have the fingers extended, the handle will go around them just fine. And it all works in conjunction with each other. Just slide it. Find the peg. Then have him hold it. And you could not use the peg at all, too. It's more than fine. Boom. Slide in. And see? I don't take my own advice. Slide it in. It's kind of hard to do working around the camera, but figure it out. Find that peg. Okay. And this, there are these tabs here. 1, 2 on each side. And there's a bar, like a red bar, across here that they just fit around. Boom, and you feel a snap too. Alright, and there he is in a souped up mode. Alright, and here it is with the trailer armor attached. Give you guys a roundabout, then we'll go ahead and give it a good measure because it gets a decent amount of height added onto it too. Right, so let's take a look head to toe with the armor, it looks like it's about 11.25 inches tall from my end. And in fact, let's take a look at the wingspan. If you just want to go straight out, which isn't really normal, but at max, we're looking at 19.5 inches approximately. Give it a click up. And that's not something that can be displayed in a DTOF. He is plenty fine height-wise, but the width of the wings is just not happening. Maybe by angling them down, which kind of takes away from the point of having them at all, even though it doesn't look horrible. But proper? Nah, not really. Now, holds these plenty fine. These aren't very heavy at all. These are plastic. And the way that they're supported is they still tab with the handles into his hand, but they also untab it real quick, slide in underneath his forearm there. So just slide it in and make sure to have the handle out already when you do this. Yeah, just move the fingers over. Again, love the articulation on those fingers. Pretty straightforward stuff. Nothing is hampered in terms of his articulation or anything like that. Make sure that's in place. Alright. Now let's see. There we go. I want some actual neat bend there. He actually balances pretty well. Got a slight angle there. And there it is. I mean, it's just a really good look and creative use of the trailer. Alright guys, and again, this has been Civil Warrior CW-01 General Grant. Honestly, it's a very unapologetically big, beefy war within, just mammoth of a prime. It's got die cast, it's got strong plastic, it's got tons of articulation, including stuff like ab crunch, fingers that are articulated to the point where they spread. I mean, when it's armored up, it's 11.5-ish inches tall. There's not a lot that this doesn't do. This reminds me of my feeling. It was back, God, it had to been because I was in college, 2005, 2006-ish, like maybe 2004. But I briefly ran, like I hadn't been collecting or playing with toys or anything like that, but Cybertron and Galaxy Force and all that stuff was out, right? So I randomly started picking them up, and I remember getting that Optimus Prime, not even being a collector, but feeling like this has it all. It was this Optimus Prime that was an awesome size, had a regular mode, a truck mode, a trailer that combined. It was so many things that were taken from like different universes and stuff like that, even though it was its own like show, part of the Unicron trilogy and this and that, but it had so many elements of what made other primes good, from like the G1 Optimus through freaking Jinrai from Master Force, that it was just, to me, perfection. And that's the feeling that I get with this. It's a good throwback feeling to when toys were manufactured and made well. No thin plastics, no bullshit, just big chunky bots. And it has modern articulation. The only downside that I have with this piece is the fact that it doesn't have weapon mode storage when it's in bot mode. You can see right here, if you just simply pull the handles down or whatever, on these you can push them back in and these still attach to the forearms just fine without him holding the handles. And then you could hold and attach the weapons, but it doesn't have like storage on the backpack and things like that, which I would love. I think that would be really, really, really cool, because this figure is more than stable enough to hold all 4 of those weapons on its back. Like, this thing is just mammoth. And even look at this. There's, well, that fell out of his hand or whatever, but there's not wobbling the hips and looseness and stuff like that. This thing is big, it's nice, it's tight, and I can't say enough good about it. I got this on a whim just because it looked cool. I had no idea about the size. I thought it was going to be like classics-ish scaled, so maybe in full combined mode at 10 inches, like not even 10 inches, probably like 8 or 9 inches or something like that tops. But this thing exceeded expectations I didn't even know I had. So highly recommend this. Order yours from TF Source. You either like War Within Prime or you don't, but in terms of this just plain being a solid and good figure, objectively, I don't think anybody can argue this. It's really damned good. And in fact, I'm somebody that doesn't even like Transformers anymore, and this freaking gave me a lot of faith in transforming Transformers, because it nails the freaking aesthetic, and there's not a lot sacrificed or whatever for the sake of it transforming. So again, highly recommended. I'm really digging this piece. In fact, I think I'm gonna follow up on this in like a month or whatever, just to see how I feel about it a little bit later out. But right now, man, oh man. Again, order yours at TF Source. Link will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this one in the comment section. Did you pick it up? What do you think? Did you not pick it up? Why not? Well, I mean, national pandemic and stuff like that, or freaking global pandemic, is a big reason for a lot of people chilling back on their purchases and stuff like that. But if there are things about the figure that you didn't like, let me know those as well. Anyway, again, thank you for your support, and I'll see you next review.